Okay, a little weekend update. I'm house sitting for my friend and puppy sitting for her. So I got my dog Scout and I got Noki the pug. I'll get some shots or some B-roll of him. And even though I'm over across town, still found some time to do some bike stuff. I was in the middle of shooting a video before I came over here, so I didn't quite finish it. Editing it right now. Hopefully I'll get it done. It's about Shogun Part 2, polishing the cranks and installing cranks. I got them polished, didn't get them installed. I also want to clean the frame, I think, in that video, do a little polishing of the paint, try to make that frame look a little nicer, and maybe do a headset swap. But who knows how many things we'll get in this video. What I did do was find a giant neighborhood garage sale where there's like 100 garage sales in the neighborhood. And it was a confusing Laurelhurst neighborhood. And I drove around and parked and walked to 3 or 4, then drove around, got lost, and walked to 3 or 4. Really wish I was on my basket bike for it. It would have been so much faster and easier than trying to park in this tight little neighborhood. I did score a couple of bike things, including one whole bike, which I'll show you guys in a second. But I got some other really good stuff. I figured we'll go through it real quick. Another little unboxing kind of video. So I've been wanting these forever, but they're like $20 even at Harbor Freight. I got a bunch of garage sale. They're socket organizer trays. So you can put your sockets on here and they have the little size on the top, which is just fantastic. Because there's just no good way of organizing sockets other than this. You can just never find anything. They always get put back in the wrong space. So socket organizer tray, this is 1 1/4 through 3/8. So that's standardy stuff. Got these gray ones, which are metric-y stuff. This one's 6 mil through 20 mil. A bigger gray one, which is 10 mil through 27, so you do bigger sizes and deeper sockets. I got a couple of these Home Depot rulers. Went to a weird garage sale, just a ton of weird new stuff, and everything was $1 or 3 for $1. Because I've been trying to get the Park Fag 2 gauge, just the frame alignment gauge, and I just can't find a good deal on one. I'm waiting until it comes up. But I did see a picture online when I was searching of a guy who just took a couple of these, cut them, got a couple bolts with some wing nuts, and just sort of made his own. So the Fag 2 gauge touches your head tube and touches your seat tube. And then has an adjustable arm you can come to touch your rear dropout. That way you can get the correct spacing on this side and flip it over the other side of the bike to make sure the rear end's aligned correctly. So it'll touch in all 3 points, or there'll be a big giant gap, or it'll stick way in, and you'll know the rear end's way out of whack. So, I figured I might just make one out of these, because it's going to cost like $2, and I'm sure I got some bolts and some wing nuts at home, and make a video on it. For people who don't want to spend like $120 on a frame alignment gauge. This is the first thing I got of the day. So this is the Just Ride Grant Peterson book, signed by Grant Peterson to the lady I got it from. She's like, I feel kind of bad. He signed it to me. We used to know him. We were friends. I think they were neighbors or something years ago in California. He even signed the special bookmark for Kate. So, I've always wanted to read this kind of. Grant Peterson's a total bike wingnut. He does all the Rivendales and stuff. He did the early Bridgestones everyone's in love with, and the Rivendales, which are kind of cool and kind of wingnutty. But I am also an opinionated wingnut. I don't agree with him on a lot of stuff. I think his bikes don't have enough fender clearance on the front. And I think all of his dropouts are designed incorrectly and make it impossible to get a B-tension screw adjustment on there. And for some reason he does that on every single bike and differently on every bike. So there's got to be some sort of theory behind that. But I do love that he uses nice paint jobs and good lugs and good tubes and rack mounts, and he makes really cool bikes. They're kind of tanks, and they're not exactly for me, but they're pretty close for me. Got another little socket tray for metric stuff for 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, all the way through 15. This is most of the stuff you use on bikes, really. 8, 9, 10, 15. But I got some socket trays. I went to another garage sale and found this nice old cheap Trek hybrid lady seat. It's in perfect shape. It was like, $2. Like, totally cool for some build or some friend. They also had this old low end, no one's gonna care about except for me, Win, Japanese stuff, Win Pista bars, with a super tall but not very reachy wind stem. No one cares. These things are great. But I had some really cool, weird Diacomp that looked like the more high-endy Diacomp levers, but they still have the chicken levers. That was weird, but it was like $2, so I grabbed it. Oh, another socket tray. So another little standard socket tray, going from 1/8 inch up to 5/8. It's most of the common sizes. So I can now turn my socket drawer into an actually organized drawer with still piles of mismatched sockets. Along with those bars, I also found this old Park Tools 1516 cone wrench. So it's always great to buy bike tools. Grab up every single one you see cheap at a garage sale. You'll use them and your friends will need them. I also had a couple screwdrivers, so I'd bring the screwdrivers with me, and it was annoying trying to disassemble a bike. I was disassembling the old Allumatrek that I bought last winter for $80 from a guy who was moving, who bought it to move to Portland, never rode it, sold it, but he did put brand new VO levers and bars and on, and made it cool. I really just want the bars and stuff. A nice good spare wheel set and some cranks and shifters and brakes, and I'll probably sell most of it, maybe use some of it. But for $80, it was a good deal. I mean, those bars are probably 30 or 40. The levers are like 20. It's like 50 or 60 of it. At a garage sale across the street, I found a few cool things. This is an old Starrett thread pitch gauge. So it's got a bunch of little duders, and they'll have different teeth on them. So you can, if you want to see if your 6mm bolt is, 0.8 thread pitch, or if it's, by 1 thread pitch or whatever. This has all that stuff. And I have some of these, and they come in my tap and die sets I have and stuff, but it's just cool. This one's all, vintage, high-end machinist one, and all wavy gravy and just neat. I had to buy it. I think they charge like $1. That same garage sale, after I left, right around the corner, in a free box, there's a bunch of little blue bins, and this one full of little sanding discs. And I asked about them, and I didn't know anything about them, and they said like $3 for all of them. It's got to be $40 the sanding discs. And then I was like, do you have the tool for them? And they're like, no, but we have this whole other die grinder, and then the die grinder had the tool in it. I'm like, we don't have any of these discs. You're selling them all to me. Can I just buy just this tool? They wanted 30 or $40 for some cheap die grinder kit I didn't care about. I finally explained to them that it had all the right tools for all the little discs in that kit, and this was only for these, which they got rid of. So I talked him into selling me this nice little tool for like $1. It's like a very weird little knurled guy, little positive interface, clicks in. So they didn't know how much they wanted. They said like maybe 3 or 4, and I said, how about 5 if you throw in this? This was sitting in a box next to it. It's a USA made little stamp kit. It's just the numbers, but so you can hammer numbers and serial numbers into metal. I gave mine away when I closed the shop. I might want it for something, for $1. Different garage sale I stopped, they didn't have anything cool at all, and then I noticed they had some CDs, and I dug through and they didn't have anything cool, but then they did. They had this Pogues, If I Should Fall from the Grace of God CD, which I may or may not have, but for $1. And I also had this 2-tone collection, a Checkered Past CD I was very excited about. It's a bunch of old ska stuff, specials, and Higgins, and some bands I've never heard of. More stuff I don't even know about. There's 2 discs, so that's super fun. Then I stopped at another one, and they had some tapes. I got Bruce Springsteen's Born to Run. I got Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, I Heart Rock and Roll. That's my favorite album of theirs. I got Saxon, Denim and Leather. I think it's some 80s hair metal. Got Def Leppard Hysteria, which is fantastic. Weird Eddie and the Cruisers soundtracky thing. Whatever, it could be fun. And a Weird Jane's Addiction tape. I remember it being kind of cool on MTV in an alternative way. I also got a sweet car magnet. I Heart My Dog car magnet. Why not? Look. I got a little kit, a little ruler, and some little jeweler's pliers and a screwdriver. I mean, whatever. I might drill a hole in this little ruler and put it on the end of those yardsticks, is what I was thinking, for the frame alignment gauge. I got some big, cheap bike winter gloves that look like they're in good shape. I mean, maybe I'll wear them and use them. And a little tiny metal ruler, and one set of cheap V-brake pads. But not a bad haul. I think I'm in 5, 10, maybe 30 bucks for all this junk. I was barely keeping track. And then, I found this Univega at a garage sale. I walked past it a couple of times, looked at a few sales, like, to the left and to the right. I decided I had to come take a look. I knew it was a cheap Univega, and I knew it had the wrong fork, and it's super ugly and boring. But I saw the black wheels, I saw the silver brakes, I really saw the bar ends, these bar end levers, and these bull horns. So I walked up. It's got a real Nitto Technomic stem on it. It's got real silver Soma bar and brake levers, not in perfect shape. It's got basically brand new Tektro 559s, the nutted super long ones. These will convert any old 27-inch bike to 700C with the pad all the way up. So these old Tektros will convert 700C bikes to 650B with no problem. They're really wide. We use them all the time to convert the old bikes. They're like 80 bucks brand new. They're almost new. And then it has these black wheels, and got up closer. They're Originate. They're not seal bearing, but they look like super low miles. Originate, all branded, deep V, black, single speed wheels with essentially a brand new free wheel. Has a Terry, like a nice Terry cushiony saddle on it. You can go like 30 bucks used by themselves. Some inline barrel adjusters. It's another 10 bucks. So it's got enough parts. I bought it just for the parts, so I'm going to strip it down. Probably right now today. I was also working yesterday on getting the Dura Ace equipped Trek carbon bike all cleaned up, wiped down, inspected, took the dumb aero bars off, and I put that up on eBay for a lot of money, for like $1,250. So we'll see what happens. And I had an old Trek. I mentioned a second ago the old Aluma-Trek. I pulled apart for parts, mostly. Crank bolts are too tight. I need my cheater bars. I need a real stand. But yeah, getting stuff done. Oh yeah, this bike was 75 bucks. I offered him 40. He was not offended, but he said 50, and I said yes. And I mean, I think I can probably get 100 bucks for the wheels, but I'll probably do a build. I like having matching wheels, It's matching wheels, a nice crank, a good frame. You can basically do anything. I know I have some more black stems. Probably have some black seat posts. Probably have some more black bars. Like, I can do a cool black single speed build, like the if you saw a couple videos ago, I did the Bridgestone 400. I did a black single speed build and put it up and got $250 for it. I have spare parts into that. I mean, I think I probably had 60 bucks in parts into it, maybe. Off of just parts bikes I bought. So that was pretty fun. Actually selling the bike pretty fast, not losing money, and being able to sell cheap enough to be sold fast. And this thing's got brand new, still has the lines, Gator Skin Continentals 728. This is every roadie who doesn't know anything about tires' favorite tire, because they're pretty dang flat proof. They don't ride awesome, they're not cool. The sidewalls are really finicky, so if you wreck them or lean them against something too hard, you can cut them. But people love these tires, and 28's a good size. I have a couple of road frames I'm going to do conversions on. I think 28's like the max they'll fit. So I'll put this frame and fork out in a free box and save these parts. So that is my video. Thanks for watching.